All right, if you don't click the bell, YouTube will hide the wrong Think videos from you. Click the links for BitChute, Odysee, and support my coffee so I can upgrade the setup. And by that, I mean buy weed and not upgrade the setup in any way whatsoever. So Image comics fiddles while Rome burns. Image virtue signals to people who are not going to support them anyway. That might be a brave stance if it was a principled one, like if the case went forward and you had due process, trial, right, to face your accusers and cross-examine and all that kind of thing, present evidence. But none of that actually happened here. It's a bunch of anonymous people who said that they consensually had anal sex, gross, just kidding, I used to be a degenerate also, among other things with Warren Ellis, but that he had multiple partners and they thought that he was going to help them get their careers started. Now they're 35 to 40, and most of the ones I could track down look like cat ladies, and he's no prize himself. And they're angry about all the butt sex they had in hotels with him. That was 15 to 20 years ago, because he went into Netflix and he wasn't able to do them favors anymore, if he was doing them any favors at all, which kind of sounds like prostitution. But I'm not defending Ellis. Just because the women are ladies of negotiable affection, everyone here sounds like pseudo people, like hollow shells who will just stare at still waters and contemplate that image forever. Let's go on the assumption that he banged a bunch of mentally compromised, vulnerable 20-year-old women, because he was an obese, ugly guy who looks like he had problems genetically. And he probably had the personality of a guy who's been picked last for sports his whole life, even if he was picked first. Sometimes everyone involved in a situation are scumbags. These mentally compromised women should not have been working around predators. Fair enough. They should have been home raising their kids. But the whole country was kind of built on intelligent people with agency running business. And this just isn't politically correct to say. If you want to take part as an adult in society, you need to have some brains and a moral code. It might be Christianity or Euro-tribal beliefs, where you know enough not to have sex with a man who's not your husband. Say you're a cute 18-year-old who wants to get into the industry. You meet Ellis, you chat, but he invites you to a hotel room or he turns the conversation flirty. You have to make a decision. Are you dating him or are you looking for a job? If he invites you to his room, you know he has zero interest in your art. He just wants your ass. You explain that you're not that kind of girl, you're a virgin saving yourself for marriage, or whatever your morals are. But he's not looking for a wife. He just wants to use you as a receptacle for his pleasure. Cum dumpster. So you and he part ways, you go your own ways, and you're back to square one. He didn't help you, but you didn't whore yourself out. The problem is that you are that kind of girl. You're a whore, and so is he. You're both people where nothing matters. Only the validation of what the globalists have told you to value. I'm punk rock. I'm a goth girl. So are a million other girls. You're the result of brainwashing and Bolshevism that has been going on for 100 years. You're a goth girl with tats who loves drugs and anal. While the details weren't planned, the goal of lowering birth rates has been achieved. Cosmo and 100% of women's magazines are owned by globalist publishers who want to destroy pair bonding, birth rates, the extended family, community, anything pro-European, and they are winning, which is why I make videos for Odysee and BitChute. The issue here is people being punished for acts that one tribe says are haram, while another says is fine. It's not an issue in the sense that you can do anything about it. The cultural Marxists own or control the media, social media. Your Congress gave up on America and is moving their liquid cash into property and liberty devices and freedom pellets. And the executive cabinet is controlled by people who literally have dual citizenship with a nation that spies on America. And also you might want 200 pounds of rice and a 12 bore. Those are good to have. If people are hungry, you can feed them or trade the rice for things. And the 12 bore is for people who are not nice. White rice kept in a bag in a plastic bucket with that water absorbing stuff. If it stays dry, it'll last your lifetime. Think about it this way. It's cheap, and if you like your neighbors, but they're dumb and don't plan ahead, you can feed them and you can keep them happy. So if people arguing about Image doing this and you're going to boycott them, great, but they are beyond caring. They know the people that read these tweets and buy their stuff is not a huge overlap. Warren Ellis is fair-skinned and male. He has no power in the West anymore. He may want to just jump on the crowdfunding side of things if they allow him on their platforms. But I don't know if he's an SJW or not. If he is, and he's been openly anti-Comicsgate, who knows what he'll do. The bigger issue is the rearranging of the deck chairs on the Titanic. This mixing of different belief systems clearly is undesirous. In a correctly run nation, i.e. one where I am God King, this wouldn't happen because, I don't know, unmarried women at that age wouldn't be at cons, they'd be home. Chaperoned. I'm kind of kidding, but not about the 1930s Germany that we're experiencing. That's why, in a convoluted way, I support him getting canceled for sodomizing young women in hotels. Under the totality of these circumstances, what he and the women did was a societal evil. He hurt these women's ability to pair bond with their future husbands and raise kids. In a sense, he stole some of their youth away from them. Now, the rebuttal is that they were adults with agency. How do I say this on YouTube? 6.5 minutes in. You lose about, I don't know how many people you lose halfway through. Goth girls with tattoos who love anal and drugs, they don't have agency. They're more in the class of diminished capacity due to cognitive impairment, like furries. I'm not saying all women because I think I'd get kicked off YouTube, but we all know that 99% of goth girls have serious emotional issues. A lot of them are going to end up homeless, turning tricks for crack. Not all, but like 99%. So for Warren Ellis to use them as cum dumpsters was a societal evil. But there are roots to this. There are no roots to this current society. So essentially, the rules are what the Marxist college professors, media, and social media say they are. But everything is driving to destroy the West. Anything that furthers that is the accepted norm. Anything that opposes globalism will eventually be destroyed. I said Ellis is fair and male, so he must be destroyed. But by destroying him, which I sort of support, they're sort of saying that they would have been better off married with kids. This causes chaos, which the puppet masters like, but it's also making people who get married young, have kids, go to church, or worship older gods look like they have a better solution than women spreading their legs until 30 and then unable to find a husband. Trad family for the win. And if you're a younger guy, you may disagree, but Jimmy, you're thinking with your dick. But the deck chairs on the Titanic, because there is no fixing this internally, it needs an ideological tribal separation. Because right now, the official rules are the United States Constitution, but unofficially, Twitter, Zuckerberg, Google, and the banks that run America. Until we have free speech protections to discuss this, I mean, free from political discrimination or, your employment, we are slaves to the banks and big tech. Now, let me be frank here. Congress and the executive branch don't care. The NGOs that really run America don't care. Or rather, this destruction was the goal all along. This is not fair representation. This isn't even America anymore. Yeah, you could keep... That's my dog whining in her sleep. You could keep your head down and stay silent, but your kids and grandkids are going to have to deal with it. Usually, when you want to put something off, that means you need to deal with it. There's no way that this improves on its own. That's not the way enthalpy work. Or some guy is going to ride in on a gray horse to fix this. Tim Pool made a point about this kind of stuff. He compared himself to George Washington or something on Twitter. In some ways, he's an idiot, while simultaneously being a millionaire. But he's also doing his part to red pill normies, even if it is kind of in a milquetoast approach. But, don't dox yourself. Get in private discords, telegram rooms, and other private chats. Meet with members of the resistance. Yes, You're the resistance now. You've been since 1955. You just didn't know it. Does this sound too tinfoil hat? I am caring less and less every day about puppet master approval. Do normies ever wonder where CRT ends, critical race theory, or who's behind it? They want Warren Ellis to make amends for things he allegedly did. And keep in mind, out of these 60 signatories, there's only like 5 that signed names to it, and the others are anonymous. So those 5 could literally all be lying. It would not be inconceivable. So that's why, gee, what a concept due process is. Yeah, countries were built on it. They asked him to make amends for things he allegedly did that was consensual and perfectly legal. CRT is finding reasons to hate you for things you literally didn't do. There is no logic or reason to it. It's just a planned extinguishment from this mortal coil for a large group of people. There is nothing Warren Ellis can do to appease the mob. The mob is a fire. It is never satisfied. Any interaction with it is fuel. You must starve it of oxygen. The best he could do would be not to comment. And he did something where he said he was doing mediation with them. That was a sign of weakness. It was whoever told you to try to placate them with some capitulation was out of their... You do not know how to deal with SJWs. I don't know if he is one, because a lot of SJWs do this thing where if they see somebody, they see the mob go after them, they just assume, oh, they must have been a bad person. But then when they go after you, you're like, never apologize to SJWs. Don't feed the fire oxygen. No comment, no comment, no comment. That's it. You just don't... let me give you a little legal advice when talking to the police. No comment without an attorney present. That's your Sixth Amendment right. With social media, you never apologize to SJWs and you never comment. Let it die down. Let cooler heads prevail, yourself included. Let some time go by. Just keep doing what you're doing. He should have just crowdfunded his stuff. And he doesn't matter to me. The big picture does. These things are all peak Weimar first world problems. There are 60 women here. What is Ellis supposed to say? Sorry, I broke up with you. You know the guy was not serious when you had sex in a hotel. That's hotel sex. Or, you had lube and condoms. It's like, oh, gee, you're prepared. You're supposed to pretend it's spontaneous. And like, no, I don't have any condoms. Why would I have condoms? We have to run out and get some or whatever. You get the idea. The claims are he hypnotized them. This obese, bald, very, very ugly man. Again, I'm no prize myself either. He looked like he's got some kind of like inbreeding or something. He hypnotized you. Even 20 years ago, he wasn't exactly Brad Pitt or Johnny Depp. Warren Ellis looks like a fat, bald guy who's going to end up paying for sex, as it turns out, one way or another. How do you make amends to a girl that you consensually sodomized in a hotel? Then the girl sent him pornographic pictures of themselves. How do you make amends for consensual sex? So he's never going to go back to Image. He can't make amends for something that was legal and consented to. But that probably means everyone else is done with him also, because he wants the liability. The other thing the SJWs did was they started to mention other guys who merely have been accused by anonymous accounts, which is enough to destroy them. If they deny the charge, that is problematic. But what if they didn't do anything? Do you want them to admit to a malum in se that they didn't do? The burden of proof is on the accuser. Otherwise, you have lynch mobs and witch trials. They are accusing people of moral turpitude, but the accusation is a conviction. That's why I say there's no way out of this. The country was founded on due process, the 4th, 5th, 6th Amendments, but social media has destroyed those protections de facto, but de jure is just a matter of time. Problem is, you have a lot of broken people who have discovered the power to burn a witch with their cell phone. But, accelerate it. There is no way back. It's a one-way journey. So step on the gas and accelerate it to destruction. Like, comment, and subscribe, and check out Odysee and BitChute if you are getting tired of the careful phrases on YouTube.